ropes and knots.
Hi, and welcome back to Trev's Travels by Narrowboat. This is a question and answer video, but it's not the regular type of questions I'm putting into this one. This is some questions I've been asked over the past few months, and it's all to do with ropes and mooring up, and different types of ropes. So there's many a different type of rope one can buy for mooring up with a narrowboat. Polypropylene has become probably one of the most popular these days. They're long lasting and strong. But of course the traditional hemp rope are still probably the best ropes you can buy. Unfortunately they're quite expensive, so a lot of people don't use them and they don't quite last as long. But they are definitely probably the best ropes you can use. I have a mixture of both on this boat because they're the ones I basically inherited when I bought the boat. So let's go through some of the ropes and how I moor up. One of the things that has been brought to my attention on more than one occasion is an odd way which people think I moor up when I'm using a centre line only, when I'm not actually mooring. I'm just stopping quickly or filling up water perhaps even, and it's not a permanent fixture. There's a very quick and easy knot to do, and I call it my knotless knot. Anyway, we'll get onto that one in a minute. I'll show you mooring at the bow of the boat to start off with. Now here's the rope attached to the front cleat, the T-bar at the front of the boat, or the bow as we should call it. And where I'm moored, there is a mooring ring, as we can see here. Now what I've done is I've pulled a loop of the rope through the mooring ring and back up onto the boat, and I'm going to put it around the cleat, and then taking the rest of the rope, I'm going to pull it up tight, try not to knock the camera over. Put the rope back around the cleats, pull tight, and I'm going to take the rope around one more time, and then I'm going to put a loop in the rope, put it back over the top of the cleats and pull it tight. I'll do that a couple of times. One was enough, it was not going to go anywhere. And there we have it, boat moored up at the front. I just take the rest of the rope, tidy it up, we don't want to be tripping over it, and I sit it at the front of the bow, out of the way. Now one thing I'd like to mention here is, look, this is a multicoloured rope. This is polypropylene. It's quite good actually if you're using mooring pins, because it's more visible, people are less likely to trip over it. Obviously using mooring rings right on the edge of the canal, people shouldn't be walking that close to the edge, and they've got very little chance of tripping over them anyway. At the stern of the boat I have a hemp rope, which I've done exactly the same. I put a loop round, put it around, and I pull up tight. So and the same thing, take it off onto the cleats. And what I also do here, because there's two cleats at the stern of the boat, I should bring it around the back of the tiller. I'll just fasten it again. Not needed. It just makes it more difficult for somebody to undo it if it's on the other side of the boat from the bank. I have two centre lines attached to my boat. As you can see, running right down to the centre there of the boat. When they come up, I leave them laying along the handrail and they just dangle here into the back deck. These ropes are both 10-metre ropes. This one has a nice little splice sort of handle to the end, which makes it easy for pulling in. Now I'm going to show you, I have them this long, let's say that just sort of dangles down there as you can see, and they're this long for a reason. I have all my ropes on my boat are 10 metres long. It means if you can jump off of the rope in hand and still keep hold of it. Here I can get off from the back of the boat, like so, still got my rope in hand, and I could pull the boat in or whatever I need to do. Now I'm going to show you this knot I use. Now what I do for this, I put the rope through the ring, I bring it back up under the handrail with a loop, like so, and then take the loose end, put it around the back of all the ropes, put it through the loop, create another loop, then do the same again. And again. Now that's fixed now, and again. This is now just using up the rope. And then pull that completely tight. And there you have the boat attached to the ring with no real proper knots involved. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by no real proper knots. To undo this knot, I simply grab the end and pull, and it all falls out. It will never fall apart. Very useful knot for mooring up quickly, and when you've got nothing to actually perhaps moor or tie the rope to, and you don't want to be doing knots. On my dinette table here, I have two brand new ropes. This one here, which was on the boat when I purchased the boat. It's a 10 metre brand new rope. I think it's 10 mil. Actually, I don't like this type of rope. I find them a bit springy and hard to moor up, and I basically got it here. I'd use it in emergency only. And I did purchase this one, which is polypropylene, 10 metres long. Actually, the label's still on here, look. What have we got? We've got 10 metres, 14mm navy, KR-009, whatever that means, and it cost me £24. This is exactly the same as the blue centre rope I have on. I bought two of them at the time. They did have two hemp ropes on for centre ropes, but one of them was failing quite badly. It was cut through almost halfway, and the last thing I wanted to be doing is pulling the boat in with that rope, leaning back on the rope failing, and me going crashing down backwards on my head. So I replaced the starport one. I bought two at the time because I wasn't too sure about the port one, but the port one is still holding up nicely, so I won't replace it until absolutely necessary. Every rope on this boat, as I say, are 10 metres long. This one's a 10 metre rope, even though I'm not using it. I believe you need 10 metre ropes just for safety reasons when getting on and off boats. You might have also noticed that my centre ropes do not reach the prop at the back. This is another safety reason. If I was to drop that rope into the water when I'm trying to moor up or anything, and the engine happened to be running, which it shouldn't be of course, but you never know, I might make a mistake, the rope cannot go back and get caught in the propeller. It won't reach that far. That's how come my centre ropes are actually a little bit forward of centre on the boat to make sure that they cannot reach all the way back to the prop. That was my little insight to the ropes I use on the boat. I'm not saying any of them are right or any of them are wrong. Any of my knots are correct or wrong. That's down to personal choice how you moor your boat up. But I do think the knotless knots I use on the side sometimes is very, very useful to learn. And at times where you're just going to otherwise tie the rope to a ring, it's perhaps not the most efficient way of trying to tie up. And as you can see, if I want to remove that rope quickly, it's one quick pull and the rope just comes undone. But I can guarantee you it will never pull out. It's as strong as any other type of knot. In fact, it could be even stronger than some knots because you're not actually creating a proper knot in it. It's just folds in the rope. So I hope that answered a couple of questions people have put to me over the course of time. One was via email recently, and that was, what ropes do I use? Well, I thought I'd expand on it a little bit because I have been asked in the past about that knotless knot I use on the centre line. How do you do that? So I thought I'd incorporate that. Very useful to use, as I say. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video on ropes and knots. I must thank all my Patreons. With your support makes me allow to purchase things like new ropes. And also people who help support the channel via PayPal. Your support is greatly appreciated, I can assure you. That just leaves me to say, thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.